Right, this is Indy. She's a Briard. She's a hair-bearing breed, which means that the hair that grows on her head, the hair in her ear grows exactly the same rate. It's on the same rotation. Everything's the same. So I'm just going to hold up this model here so you can see how the ear is. We've got this lovely L shaped here. And this is where the hair is growing. So it's coming down and the hair is growing. So sometimes when we pull hair out, it's quite amazing at how deep rooted that hair is. That said, we're only going to be plucking what we can see. We're not going to be putting anything into the ear that might cause a problem further down in the ear. Same rules apply to just cleaning an ear. If it's inflamed, if the dog's in any distress or any problems like that, we're going to stop and we're going to let the owner know and refer the dog to the vet. So I always pluck prior to cleaning because I think the hair's a lot dirtier and then I can wipe any debris away. So you can see here, this is the pinner. So this again, slightly greasy and it's quite mucky there, so that's great. That means the ear's working properly. So I'm just going to use a little bit of powder just to pop it on there. And what this is going to do is this is going to aid my grip. So I'm just going to pop that on there, rub it into my fingers. Now when you're plucking, what you should be doing is using what I term as a sewing motion. So I'm not going to be grabbing and pulling away quickly. That's really not nice at all. So I'm going to literally just be taking a small amount of hair, holding it between my fingers and just gently pulling it away. So there's no force there at all. You can see what I'm getting out. So it's like a big sewing motion. We want to be nice and fluid, no jerkiness or anything like that. So again, take the hair, gently pull, and it's that sewing motion. So again, we're only going to be going into as far as our fingers will allow us. We're not going to go potholing for any hair. So here, you can see it's just going to let the dog shake if they want to. Quite often this is quite pleasurable for them. They don't mind it at all. Again, if they show any signs of distress, then stop. We're not here to hurt them. So you can see the hair's growing out of the ear canal here. So these act as a tract for infection. They do stop debris going into the ear. So we don't want the ear to be squeaky clean. We don't want everything to be out of it. But literally, I'm pulling what is naturally coming. So what is dead. So now that I'm happy that I've got that ear canal free of hair, I like wipes. I'm a big wipe fan. I find I can feel a lot with my fingers, so I like to wrap it around my finger and then I know whether I'm going, how far deep I'm going. I'm just going to now start just wiping. You can see quite a lot of debris. This type of colour, there's no odour to it really. Ears should, I always say they smell a bit like sugar puffs really. If there's any great odour to the ear, or you can smell the dog as it comes in the salon, then that's a real indication that there's a major problem there. But there's no foul odour to this at all. It's just a bit of wax build-up. As I say, it's got a bit of dirt in there as well on this ear flap here. So just wiping it out. Good girl. If you're using wipes, then obviously if you're moving on to another ear, you're going to use a fresh, clean wipe. We're not going to worry about any cross-contamination. If you've used your fingers, you're going to wash your hands in between. You can pluck with gloves on or with the finger cots. That's quite good. Because that hair, because it's growing out of the ear, is slightly waxy. So sometimes it's quite hard to grip. So again, I'm just going to give that a good clean. This bit here is pigment, so that's not going to come off. But all those creases down there, we're just going to make sure they're all nice and clean. Now when a dog gets an ear infection, they get an infection in the bottom of the ear. So something goes into the ear, and it can be something as simple as water from the bath, and it sits in the bottom here. Or a bit of debris gets in there. I've even seen grass seeds go that deep into the ear, and it sits in this area here. What happens is that area then becomes inflamed, and it can be from the dog scratching, or just the fact that there's a foreign body in there, and that's the way that the body is trying to get rid of it. This canal then swells up, and that causes quite a lot of discomfort to a dog. And also, any treatment that you're trying to get in effectively sits above the problem because there's a big plug in there. Now, I love this model because you can see, if I turn it round, you can see how the ear canal has become really inflamed. It's shrunk tremendously, and now any sort of treatment we're trying to get in right down the bottom here, where there's this great big lump of pus, is just not going to get there. Which is why ideally we need to pick up ear problems really early on so that they can be treated. As soon as this ear canal starts to swell, then that's when owners are into huge vet bills, huge discomfort. If any of you have ever had an ear problem, then you'll know it's terrible, terrible pain for a dog. And this type of infection just takes forever to get sorted. So let's just turn that round so you can see a beautiful open ear canal coming right down that we can keep clean, we can stop debris going in. And this is another reason why we don't strip ears out to nothing, because we want that hair in there just to stop stuff going in, but we don't want it to form a plug. Turn it round, you can see how this area down the bottom here is nice and free. That's what's going to be producing all the lovely oils that are going to keep this beautifully lubricated. And now we can see, if I turn the model around, how the whole area is infected. There's a plug in there, and that's going to be quite a major problem for the dog, and also to get cured. So ear care is really important. So wipes are fabulous. They're not going to cause any problem to the ear at all. They're specially formulated to just check that grease away but not strip it right back, and they're an ideal thing to use. And you can see just from this model how using Q-tips and that sort of thing into an ear is a real big no-no. If we've got an infection, all we're going to be doing with a Q-tip is pushing it further down, and that's not what we want to do. I never stop a dog shaking its head, and he's just been shaking a little bit there. Don't worry about that, because what happens in the shaking process is any debris or any problems that sit down the bottom here just get flung out of the ear, and that's exactly what we want to do. So I'm just hoping that's just explained it just a little bit to you.